Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so incredibly excited to guide you through today's topic, because we're looking at something you literally interact with every single day. But, well, you probably never think about it until something goes horribly, terribly wrong. So let's just dive right into it. The hidden world beneath our feet. Climate, carpet tiles, and catastrophes.
So why do floors fail? You might think it's just from heavy foot traffic or, old age, but the truth is actually way more invisible, and honestly, a lot more insidious. We kind of tend to think of flooring as this static, unchanging foundation, right? But it's actually this highly dynamic system that's constantly reacting to its environment and to the exact people who installed it.
Think about the sheer horror of what hides under an old rug. One flooring professional on Reddit said they've ripped up 30-year-old carpets right after homeowners bragged about just having them cleaned, only to sweep up literally 5-gallon buckets of dirt from underneath. 5 gallons! That dirt simply settles straight through to the subfloor over the decades, meaning your floor is never truly clean, no matter how many times you vacuum or shampoo the thing. It's a fantastic, albeit gross, reminder of why modern flooring technology absolutely had to evolve.
Here's how we're going to break this all down to save you from your own flooring nightmares. We'll cover the climate flooring connection, the carpet tile revolution, some pretty hilarious DIY installation nightmares, local versus big box stores, and finally, the final flooring verdict.
Okay, part 1. The climate flooring connection, the invisible enemy of your floors. Before you even look at a flooring sample, you absolutely have to understand the microscopic warfare happening right inside your home. This brings us to a concept called dimensional change. It's the process where flooring materials expand when heat and humidity increase and contract when the air dries out or cools down. This is exactly why floors warp, gap, and buckle over time. They're literally breathing with your room's climate. Wood, for example, is hygroscopic. It acts just like a giant sponge. It absorbs moisture from the air and expands when it's humid, and it shrinks right back down when the air dries out. If you don't account for this with proper expansion gaps, or if you pick the wrong material for your environment, your floor will inevitably destroy itself from the inside out.
So, what's the magic number? 35 to 55%. The ultimate secret to preserving literally any flooring investment is keeping your indoor humidity strictly within that 35 to 55% range. Whether you've got solid hardwood, luxury vinyl, or laminate, maintaining this specific sweet spot using humidifiers or dehumidifiers prevents all that excessive expansion and shrinkage. It's the invisible maintenance that keeps your floors looking brand spanking new year after year.
And matching your regional climate to the right material is absolutely your first line of defense. Think about it. If you live in a super humid, warm area like the Gulf Coast, solid hardwood is just going to absorb all that moisture and swell up like a balloon. You're going to want vinyl, porcelain tile, or waterproof laminate instead. But on the flip side, if you're in a dry, hot desert climate, that exact same vinyl might actually soften in direct sunlight. So tile, stone, or engineered hardwood becomes your best friend. In cold, dry spots, engineered wood or tile with radiant heat are the way to go. But you definitely want to avoid thin laminates.
Moving on to part 2, the carpet tile revolution. Why modular squares are conquering commercial and residential spaces. Let me tell you, if you've ever dealt with stained, unraveling, wall-to-wall broadloom carpet, you are going to absolutely love this next modern solution. When we put traditional broadloom rolls head-to-head with modern carpet tiles, the winner for longevity, cost, and maintenance is just night and day. With traditional rolled carpet, if you have a funky, non-standard room, you might have to buy up to 40% more carpet than the room's actual square footage just to make the cuts work. And get this, you literally just throw all that excess away. Carpet tiles drastically drop that waste down to around 7%. Plus, broadloom requires this complex, professional seam sealing, whereas tiles are incredibly easy to install and a single damaged square can be swapped out in seconds.
Why do they dominate? Well, whether it's a community center holding up to 40 years of dropped cookies or just your home office, carpet tiles are fundamentally superior. The heavy rubber backing completely prevents the edges from unraveling, which is, a huge point of failure for rolled carpet. And here's a totally genius design trick. If you have to replace a stained or burned tile years later and the new color dye lot doesn't perfectly match the old ones, you simply use a quarter-turn installation. By just alternating the direction of the squares, your eye naturally blends those slight color differences away. It's brilliant. Plus, modern connectors like peel and stick or floor dots adhere to the tiles themselves, not the floor underneath.
We're talking about a true 10-minute room transformation here. Products like Shaw's Floorigami planks or FLOR's pattern tiles let you completely revamp a room in a single afternoon without even moving heavy furniture out of the house.
Like I mentioned, you don't even have to glue them to your actual subfloor. You just use these revolutionary little sticky dots that connect the tiles to each other, creating a sort of floating rug. Spill something? Just lift up that one stained tile, wash it in the kitchen sink, let it dry, and pop it right back in. Mind-blowing, right?
All right, part 3, DIY installation nightmares. When an easy weekend project becomes a permanent disaster. Because beware, even the easiest flooring solutions have some pretty hilarious and expensive pitfalls if you don't know what you're doing.
Okay, get a load of this quote from an overzealous DIYer. I'm gluing down self-adhesive carpet squares for a temporary floor. I have to use glue to level out the imperfect floor. How can I hide the glue that's seeped up between the seams? Oh boy. They literally applied massive amounts of standard multi-purpose glue with a large-toothed trowel for what was supposed to be a temporary floor. They thought they could use thick carpet glue to fill in the uneven gaps of their subfloor. It's a classic case of good intentions meeting a total lack of structural understanding, resulting in an absolute sticky disaster seeping up through every single seam.
And of course, a horrified flooring pro chimed in with, "Lol, stop. You will need an industrial stripping machine to lift those later. Multi-purpose glue is permanent." Yikes. As the pros so quickly pointed out, using permanent multi-purpose glue to literally try and level a floor means those tiles are now basically part of the house's foundation forever. Flooring glue is not a leveling compound. Because they use the completely wrong adhesive in massive quantities, what was supposed to be a quick temporary weekend fix is now going to require heavy industrial machinery to scrape off the concrete later. Ouch.
So if you actually need glue, what should you use? Pressure-sensitive adhesive, or PSA. It's a specialized viscous flooring glue designed specifically for walk-off tiles. And here's the kicker. It has to be rolled on super thin and allowed to fully dry or flash before installation. PSA is completely different from permanent multi-purpose glue. You roll it on, wait until it's just tacky to the touch, and then you place your tile down. Doing it this way ensures you won't end up needing a jackhammer if you ever want to change your floors again.
So, let's run through the correct modular installation steps to build a perfect floor. Step 1. Acclimate your materials to the room's humidity for 48 to 72 hours. This is absolutely non-negotiable. They need to adjust to that 35 to 55% humidity window we talked about. Step 2. Clean and prep a perfectly flat subfloor. Remember, no using glue as a leveling trick. Step 3. Use floor dots or a flat trowel with that PSA we just mentioned. And finally, Step 4. Place your tiles using that clever quarter-turn pattern to blend the seams perfectly.
Moving right along to part 4, local versus big box stores. The great retail showdown. Because once you know what to install and exactly how to install it, your final battle is deciding where to actually buy the stuff.
The absolute biggest difference here really comes down to the accountability gap. Think about it. Big box stores sell the product, sure, but they broker the labor out. So accountability becomes this super messy chain between the homeowner, the store, and a third-party subcontractor. If your brand new floor starts buckling, you're stuck in a finger-pointing triangle. The store blames the installer blames the product, and you are left holding the bag. With a local store, you get direct in-house accountability. The very same vetted regional experts who sell you the floor are the exact ones responsible for the final installation.
Now that's not to say big box stores don't have their place. They are fantastic for grabbing DIY supplies on a Sunday afternoon, picking up basic commodity luxury vinyl plank, or outfitting standard room dimensions. But local is your go-to for professional installation, complex non-standard rooms, and regional climate expertise. An installer in, say, Utah, understands the unique challenges of a super dry climate way better than a generic national guideline ever could. Local stores are also unmatched when it comes to repairing specialized patterns and building long-term customer relationships.
And that brings us to part 5, the final flooring verdict, bringing it all together. Okay, let's wrap up everything we've uncovered today into a few really solid takeaways for your very next renovation.
Here are your ultimate takeaways. First, respect your climate. Manage your indoor humidity. Keep it right in that 35 to 55% sweet spot to prevent dimensional change. Second, embrace modularity. Carpet tiles reduce waste, simplify repairs, and massively extend your floor's lifespan. Third, do your homework. Avoid those hilarious but painful DIY glue traps by actually understanding proper adhesives and floor prep. And finally, buy smart. Value the accountability and specific climate expertise of local flooring professionals. By respecting the science of your climate and leveraging modular design, you can completely avoid the buckets of hidden dirt and those permanent glue disasters. Remember, your floor isn't just a static product, it is a living, breathing system.
So the next time you walk into a room, I want you to ask yourself, what's really hiding beneath your feet? And who put it there? I really hope this explainer completely changes how you look at the ground you walk on and empowers you to make some incredibly smart choices the next time you decide to rip it all up and renovate. Because at the end of the day, knowledge is absolutely the best tool you can bring to any project. Thanks so much for joining me, and as always, stay curious.